definitely something that I think is important to say, that this is what I have been able to do. And I'm just so grateful that God has given me this ability to do that. I never thought that it would work out for my good, but it really has. And I just want to encourage everyone that God has a plan and a purpose for everybody's life. And it's just about finding what that is and going forward with that. I was able to graduate with a bachelor's degree despite being told I couldn't do it. After college, it took me a while to find a job that was disability friendly. A lot of places claimed that they were, but they were anything but that. And I've been working in a school as a teacher's aide for about 15 years, and I love working with students. Really go out and get them tested or to consult with their teachers, because there are so many kids that I do see in classes that do not have a diagnosis for a learning disability or any other type, and they're struggling, and we're wondering why are they not getting services. And I think that a lot of parents are hesitant to do that because I don't want my child labeled. And or they might say, well, I don't want my child to think they can't do anything. And that's one of their greatest fears. But I think when we don't label it and when we don't intervene and when we're not honest, I think that that adds to a lot of trauma because the child grows up thinking that they're not very
With
smart.
part of your story of teaching students how to advocate for
Yeah.
themselves, that is really another big step that I find the beauty in your story, because you have to go past the shame in
Right.
order to get what you need in order to succeed.
Exactly. And it's never an easy conversation to have, but it's so important to do that and to get comfortable with it. Flower, what I find is so amazing about them is they have beauty to them, but
Yeah,
there also is that pain along with that. So
yeah.
you might have a rose with these beautiful pinks and reds and these petals that are just so pretty and everyone admires, and some of them have smells to them
Yes.
that people love. But on the rose is also a thorn that can also go out and be able to prick your skin as well. So I think that that's something really important. We have to realize with a disability, there's there's pain, but there's also such beauty to that. Time, I right after college, I also ended up meeting my husband, and we got married after school. And it was another dream. That was another dream of mine too. I always wondered if I was going to meet somebody, and people said, "Well, you're probably not going to meet anybody because of your disability." And God had other plans with that. I was so tired of being in broken relationships. In fact, my ex, when he was breaking up with me, said, "I think you could drive places, and I'm really tired of taking you where you need to go." And I prayed about that, and I just said, God, don't send anybody until it's the right person. And they encourage teachers to use a wide variety of learning styles in the
Yes.
classroom because some students need to see things, other students need
Yes.
to hear things, some need to be involved with doing that, some need a combination of all those things. That was
Yes.
one of the things that they put on my earliest reports as an adult, that I don't have one particular way that I learned. And they said that I would really benefit from having a multi module
Because
with learning.
sometimes, depending upon your workplace may not have the resources, may not have the funding
Mhm.
for the resources, and may
Exactly.
not even, um, if they get there, and may not even comprehend in order
See,
for an employee, for you as an
mhm.
employee to do your job, because technically you can do your
Whenever we
job.
have a culture or a society that
Yes.
thinks, well, everybody needs to be in this little box and
Yes.
learn this and be able to do this. And that's actually what disables the person more than the disability does.
Correct. Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah. One of these days, the word
Yeah.
disability will be just no more. It'll just be everybody
Yeah.
learns. Please tell us more about your cause and what got you started.
Sure, I'd be happy to. I have a blog called Michelle's Mission where I write about my life with a learning disability and I feature my photography. And my mission with Michelle's Mission is to be able to empower, educate, and encourage people with and without
As well,
disability.
for me, I am grateful that we had this conversation, because
Hmm.
as somebody with a learning disability myself, I find that now that I'm older, I find that
Hmm.
I really just don't care anymore. I don't know if you feel that way. Like, I really just don't care
Yeah.
anymore. If I can't read something, I'll be like, I just can't
Mhm.
read that.
I agree with you 100% because I can remember people would tell me, well, if I was going to be a teacher, I would want to be a god and that I know everything. And for a while that did bother me. And I thought, oh, I'm really failing everybody. And then I thought to myself, I don't care now as much. I can go in a classroom. Like I had a student ask me today for help, and I'm like, I said, do you know how in science class Mrs. Steiner doesn't know everything? Yeah. I said, well, I don't know about that. It's the same thing in this class. I don't understand that. And I don't feel that guilt towards them. Made honor roll consistently for a few years, but socially things got a lot harder for me. I can remember a lot of the peer groups became more defined. Everybody had their friends, everybody had their own little group, and I just didn't fit in with anybody. And I could really sense the disconnection with the school that I was at. So I decided that I was going to look for other resources. I found a faith based art group just outside of my school district.